Yo, what is up, everybody? DPS podcast episode 31. And yes, this isn't Slow-Mo's fault. This is my fault. You know, I was having I didn't want to have a slow-mo moment, so I was having echoing inside of my headset, and I was like, yo, what is really going on here? So sorry for the delay. As always, we really truly appreciate every last one of you for coming to the show. But we're going to get right into it. And yes, Brad Podcast, Forte is late. He's late. And I will take full responsibility for it. But but like I said, episode 31, man, it's been a great time. A nice little ride. 30 episodes, Slow-Mo, man. Where did you ever see us just getting to 30 episodes and actually still surviving each other?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the one that, I have the most patience, I think, in dealing with all of your little, hiccups and all kinds of stuff that happens. It's you that, seems to not have any patience whatsoever. But it's all right, I endure.
You endure. Yeah. Oh, Lord.
I'm still here.
Okay, well, first of all, I do want to shout out because there was a lot of people that were here early. We had Racer X Gundam was here, Brat Podcast always here. Saloon. We got Dark. So yeah, Dark got kind of mad at us because let's let we're transparent here at DPS, and we don't want to make it seem like everybody isn't a part of the community. So the whole DPS podcast and people not knowing what DPS stands for, it was just fun and games. We were just joking around with it, and if we did hurt some people's feelings out there, we apologize for it because we were just having fun with it because most people know what DPS stands for. But if you didn't, that's okay. We still love you anyways, but I just feel like it was our responsibility to make sure that we tell everybody that no hard feelings. If we hurt your feelings or anything for any reason, we're sorry. What you say anything about that, Slow-Mo? Got anything you want to say? Yes, no?
I'm good.
You good?
No.
I summed it up
DPS
for us.
stands for damage per second.
Yeah, we summed it up. We summed it up really good right there. All right,
cool.
Cool.
Yeah, it is summed.
It's summed up. Cool. Cool. We got it summed up. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hustle and Motivate. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to Erodimus. Yeah, man. You've been killing it on Twitter, man. Been looking at a lot of your tweets and stuff. Really like what you've been saying on there. And my homeboy Sir Taz, who has talked me through the darkest of darkest days today while I was at work. I was having an emotional crisis breakdown, and I had to call Taz and be like, Taz, am I doing everything right in my life? And he was like, if you got to ask me that question, bro, then something's wrong. And I was like, yeah, you right. But shout out to all you guys. But yeah, let's get into this episode. But first, I have to formally announce my co-host with the co-most, the man that literally puts confidence into me and everybody else in this community. Slow-Mo Backslap, how you been? What you been up to? And what's going on with you?
Man, I have been through a love-hate relationship lately with Outriders. That's what I've been up to the detriment of gaming and doing videos. It's just like it's like if I'm not working, I'm playing Outriders, and I'm like, yo, I got a video to do, but I want to get this particular piece for this build for the Pyromancer. And I need a intervention or something. I think I finally coming off of the addiction high of another looter shooter. I think I'm starting to kind of be like, with this game, just like
this game is in the bushes.
when we tried to, I don't know what was more difficult. And you kind of playing right now the gameplay from when we were helping Taz.
Yeah, we're not going to show that. We're not going to show the end of this gameplay because that's kind of sus. We're just gonna we're gonna play only the beginning of it.
But when I didn't know what was more difficult, 3 people. With them nerfing your damage output when you are overpowered, trying to beat the final boss, or trying to get an exhibition, just one single exhibition done with crossplay enabled and co-oping with a group of people, because it literally seemed like as soon as we tried to do one exhibition, it was I got bounced out the game. Then Forte get bounced out the game. Then Taz crashes. We all reboot our games and get back in. And Outriders is like, no difficulty level increase. World tier 30 enable, right? It's just like, no.
What does that
you
screen
can't play
say?
this game.
That screen was saying world tier 6 and 7, but we like, yo, why is this like 32?
It was crazy. So it was just like, I don't understand why we couldn't get into a single exhibition. And I don't want, because this would be like the third week in a row we talk about Outriders, and I don't think the game deserves that much attention. So I'm just gonna say,
well, why we got well, go ahead, finish what you're gonna say.
I was just gonna say that it's been to my detriment on many fronts that I've been playing this game, and I'm about done with it a bit. I'm gonna get back to Persona 5 Strikers. I'm gonna get back to some other games I've been playing. I know we're gonna talk about it a little bit later, but I might be a bit interested in Returnal. I might actually be picking that up, and we might be doing a little bit of a co-stream really really soon. Because there was a poll that went up, and we could talk about the results of that poll whenever you're ready, and we'll announce what we got planned for the community going forward.
Yeah. So before I switch over to that, I do, since we are on Outriders, I do want to sum up the fact that there was a message that was put out by People Can Fly yesterday, and this is basically going to be the end of this conversation for Outriders. If you are a person that fell victim to losing your clothes in the actual game and not having anything but your diaper, your underoos on or something like that, you're going to get all of your stuff back. And the cool thing is, you're going to get your stuff back. Plus, they're going to give it to you with the same stat distribution that you had before, but they're going to be of the God row variety. So you're going to get better gear because you lost your stuff. Now, there is no timetable on when this is going to take place. They haven't given us a firm date. They said there is like 3 sections of gamers that this is affecting. Some people were affected on a micro level where some of their inventory was affected, but it didn't disappear. And then you had everybody to the point where all their stuff disappeared compared to the people that didn't have any issues. So they're sorting that little situation out. So we should be hearing something in the very near future. I don't know if that's going to help them, because by the time this comes out, a lot of people might have moved on to something else. But at least you do know your time will be valued, I guess, when your stuff does come back. So if you're a person that's waiting for that stuff, we just wanted to give you a little bit of a news info dump on that. But yeah, getting to what Slow-Mo was just talking about, we have a poll that we ran on the official DPS podcast Twitter account. If you don't know we had one, it's at DPS _podcast_. Follow it. That's where we drop all the news and announcements, and whenever me and Slow-Mo do anything on the channel when it comes to live streaming together. So this is the results of that poll, and I am going to put it up on the screen right now. And as you can see, what games would you like to see Gaming Forte and Slow-Mo do a co-stream on? And overwhelmingly, It Takes Two won. Now, Slow-Mo, first of all, I don't even know why you put that game on the list.
Never put it in the poll. You should have never
put it there.
It was like, as I was typing it in, I was like, this is a mistake. I know, but like, maybe people, because the game's hot right now. I say this, and I'm not saying it's a mistake because the game's bad. I haven't played it, so I don't know if it's bad or not. But I don't really have a lot of interest in the game.
Right.
But I do know that everybody, wrong screen, bro.
Oh, what am I looking at? Oh, yeah, there we go. I need to pull up a different window for that. Go ahead.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, anyway. Every time that like people talk about the game, it's always glowingly speaking about how good the game is, and I recognize that. That's fine. But I just didn't have any interest in it. But I hear it's good. It's a good game to co-op with someone. We would probably actually have a lot of fun with it. I think so. That's fine. It takes two. And we have some other write-in suggestions as well. Some of them I think are pretty interesting. We might want to do later later on. So Hustle, shout out to Hustle, he had a suggestion of A Way Out, and I was like, oh, you know what? I haven't played A
I
Way
haven't
Out,
played it out either.
and it's the same developer that did It Takes Two. That's one I actually would be a little bit more interested in playing than A Way Out, and then Franco with Balin Wonderworld.
Like, is that even multiplayer?
It's not even multiplayer. And he's like, well, both of you should just stream it, individually. And I'm just like, hey, no, I'm not playing that. I have less interest. I have more interest in playing Bug Snacks than I do in playing Balin Underworld. And Aradmus also says Second Extinction, which I think that comes out soon.
Yeah,
I'm
it comes
not
out soon
100%
in Game Pass. Yeah.
And I wouldn't be opposed to that at all, because I like the way Second Extinction looks. I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I like to rock with guns again.
Big Mike in the chat said I voted on Demon Souls. I didn't see that tweet.
I didn't see it.
As
Where is it?
I don't care.
Where is it? I don't see it. Is there a quote?
Well,
Look at this quote, T. Did you quote T? Did you quote? Oh Lord, look. If it has co-op Bug Snacks.
Yeah, we can not.
Yeah. Does this trigger you slow mo looking at this?
Oh, absolutely it does. So look, I mean, we're gonna start doing a lot more like co-stream kind of stuff, and I put in Man of Medan. I know that's not even like Supermassive Games' most current game. The most current one is Little Hope, but maybe we'll do the one that's coming out later this fall.
Yeah,
got the name of it, but it's we'll figure it out. It's all good. But
yeah,
I appreciate everybody that voted, and what we're announced is that this coming Tuesday at 11 a.m. we will co-stream It Takes Two. And the way we're going to do it is that you'll see it on both of our channels. So you'll see it from Forte's point of view on his channel, and you'll see it from my point of view on my channel. So you can watch either one if you want. You can, troll us in either chat if you want, but not too badly. Don't troll too badly, but still, like, go to whichever chat that you feel like going to. And yeah, that would be cool. And Addict, I agree. Little Hope, Little Hope ain't that good. I have thought about doing a video about Supermassive and how they are going the way of Telltale Games for a minute, because they just keep making really bad business decisions, like in the way that Telltale kept taking like on all these projects, and it was just like it's just like, it's weird, so it's like, what, like Telltale kept taking on all of these license deals that they didn't make enough money off of to keep business going, and so in order to make more money, they just kept taking projects. There's a whole no-clip documentary about it if you want to check it out, and it's really unfortunate, because right around the time they were starting to become a little bit more innovative and get out of their typical formula, they ran out of money, went out of business, and now there's like a new company with the same name but not the same people. I see Supermassive kind of going down that same route, where they came on the scene with Until Dawn, and it was amazing. It was great. It was like, it hit all the notes that people wanted from that kind of game. But then they have been really structured themselves super thin. All of these dark picture games are like watered down versions of Until Dawn, with characters that don't have as much of a personality as the characters in Until Dawn did, with stories that aren't as well fleshed out, nor are they very long. Like, you can beat Man of Medan and Little Hope in like one stream session. We can stream those games, and I mean, like Man of Medan is okay. Little Hope, I don't think was that good, but it's they're just not that, like, they're like 3 hours at the most, I think, to finish. And it just seems really just not at the level of quality that they're used to. I hope they turn it around with the new one, but when you are doing annual releases of these games, you don't really have time to put the level of quality that you need to put into it. So it's unfortunate. I know I did a tangent there. My bad. Let's get back to it.
Well, Big Mike said that we overlooked his comment. He said he saw it.
His comment?
That's what I said. He said he saw it, and I went past it. I don't see it.
Are
you talking about here on? Are you talking about here on Twitter?
Do we have Big Mike muted? I hope not. I don't think we do. No,
Oh shoot.
I do see it now. I do see it.
Where you
Like,
see it?
Mike, you just made the comment like 6 seconds ago, man. What are
Oh
you
my
doing here?
god, dude. Come on, Big Mike.
Come on. He was like, man, you guys should play Demon
It's
Souls.
literally 2 minutes
2
ago.
seconds ago. Like, come
Look
on,
at this.
Mike. Get out of
Man,
here.
you are immortalized on the stream right now. Even this
Silly.
2 minutes ago up here. Well, the poll's already closed.
Yeah, exactly.
maybe next month when you get another chance at it. But yeah, man, that's what's up. But overall, I think it's gonna be fun, man. You know, a lot of people want us to play games together, and we already kind of do that on the background. I mean, you know, I always talk about how you don't want to play games with me, and you always say, "Call me, mother," and I'm like, "Sure, Slow-Mo. I guess I could call you." But
did you say call me mother? What?
I was trying not to say the F word at the end of it.
I have never.
Never cussed at me?
That.
Have you? What? You never called you?
Wait.
You never cussed at me?
I didn't say that.
Well, I was about to say.
Let me finish. My
I was about to say.
I have specifically never said call me mother effer. Like I didn't say that. Wait, maybe.
Yeah,
I may have said that once. I may
you
have
said it
that once or
before.
twice.
You know,
what?
Luca gonna show up in here.
Did we get the super chats? Because we got 2
No,
super chats.
oh, we got 2 of them now.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get the one from Addict.
Gaming Addict, $2 super chat. Hey Forte, hit that like button. Oh, hey Slow-Mo. What's up, Addict? You know, you can stop putting the baseball stuff up, man. That'd be great. Anyway,
I did. I'm
Brad, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, $2 super chat. Salute Forte and Slow-Mo. What is up, Enrique? How's it going, man? You know, hopefully you're not pissing Eric off anymore since last night. You know, it was a funny show that we had last night on Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. If you missed it, definitely go check it out. It was a good show as usual, but in particular, it was a lot of fun. I had a good time with it. Anyway, Forte, did you talk about how your week has been since last week?
No, I haven't. I mean, my week has pretty much been the same as your week. I mean, the only difference is I just been playing probably less Outriders than you have. I did play some MLB. I was playing I played some MLB. I played a lot of NBA. Good God, I played a lot of NBA. And then outside of that, some more Octopath Traveler. I did NBA. Jesus Christ, NBA.
So you played a lot of getting a master's in business administration. Wow.
Yes.
What game is that?
I said NBA, sir, not NBA.
That college?
Not NBA.
Simulator? Is that what that is?
Yeah. I would actually do really well in something like a college simulator game. I would actually do really well since I did pretty good in school.
It sounds like, oh, you know what? I just got an idea for, you know.
We are not playing what? Job simulator?
No.
PC simulator builder?
No, college simulator. This will be great. Let's listen to my pitch, okay?
Okay.
Hold on, listen to this.
I'm listening.
The goal of the game is to graduate college and get your MBA, but you also get to enjoy the perks of college too. So you get
there are some
parties,
perks in college.
drinking,
yeah,
beer pong. I'm talking about have all them be like mini games in the game, hooking up with the you know what I'm saying, right? You know,
I know you get real excited right now because this is all stuff you used to do when you were younger. I feel you.
maybe not.
Hey, yo, Slow-Mo wasn't always a saint.
Hey, now let's not.
Slow-Mo wasn't always a saint.
I am a married man of 3 children, and I don't know about any of those things.
I'm a married man with two children.
If someone wants to make a game, there's your idea, free idea, go have at it.
Okay, Gregor, you can leave me alone. Forte watched House Party one day and thought he went to school. Okay, got you. I got you. But yeah, man, let's get into this first, man. Shout out to the 51 people that we had here, man. Already, not even 30 minutes, well, just over 30 minutes in the show. But yeah, let's get to the first topic, man. We got Xbox coming. Well, not even Xbox, you know. Shout out to all of the insiders that, you know, we all know in this community that, you know, went out and basically told everybody that Xbox has surpassed 23 million active users. And they ain't use the word active, but we're just going to use the word active because, you know,
We know it's active.
we know it. We know
It's
it's active.
bro.
It's active, bro. It's not it's not combined. It's concurrent people that are in the service
history.
right now. Yeah, people saying it's in the history. And you know what? I almost got caught by that. Shout out to Chris Rices. He was DMing me and messaging me and said, "Yo, what do you think about this?" Because he added me and Kid Smooth, and Kid Smooth was smart. He ain't say nothing. He just was quiet. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, I don't know, man. They didn't say this. They said. Then I thought about it. I was like, no, man, that's concurrent. That's active users, man. But yeah, they passed 23 million active subscribers. They're probably well on their way to 24 million. And man, that's like what? They were at 18 million in January, so they're up 5 million since the last time they talked about this. Slow-mo, so what is your thoughts around this, man? What do you think?
Well, I'm thinking that this is pretty much what we kind of expected to start to happen with the service. I likened it to an example that when we talked about this of like a ball rolling downhill. In the beginning, it's like a slow progress, but once it starts to pick up speed, then it starts to gain more and more traction. And yeah, I think that's what's happening here. Essentially, the last we heard last January was it was at 18 million. Now it's at 23 million, and it's April. So they gained 5 million in 3 months. So,
Yeah,
and if you look at the games that they just got into the service, they got MLB The Show, which was prior to this year a exclusive to PlayStation and also made by PlayStation, which looks even more awkward.
right.
But also Outriders, the game that we were talking about before, as many issues and as much of a love or hate relationship I have with that game, what you can't deny is that the game has been an undeniable success for Square Enix when it comes to impact, sales, active users playing the game. It's in the top 5 of every platform that it came out on. And for a game from a AA studio with a barely AAA budget and a new IP, what more could you really ask for when it comes from a publisher's perspective? I know gamers could ask for a whole lot more. Like
Right.
we could ask for stable connectivity whenever we try to play the game. We could ask for them to not
Facts.
nerf every build that does somewhat decent as soon as someone puts up a YouTube video about it. Like we could ask for some things, but as far as Square Enix is concerned, I think Square Enix is pretty happy and pretty happy with having the game in Game Pass day and date. So all that said, I think, and I proposed this during a live stream, a random live stream that we did with Enrique
Mm-hmm.
last Saturday with Enrique, Big G Sale, shout out to Big G, and Ian had Aaron Greenberg in the chat of marketing of Xbox, who was speaking. We're just really in the chat, giving his comments and really replying to some of the comments that we had. Great stream. Check that out on Basement Radio Arcade Podcast if you have the time. But in that we were discussing how pivotal Outriders is to Game Pass, because it's the Square Enix is the first publisher to really kind of take a major game that a publisher had been marketing, and it's not like Square Enix's best game of the year. It's not like their marquee game that they're counting on this year, but it's like the one of the mid games. It's kind of like where Ubisoft is, say, like a Phoenix Rising game. It's not the game they put all their money behind, but it
Right.
is a title that is a major title and going in day and date. Now, we've seen that with the Medium before, but the Medium is from a AA studio. It's a AA game, and they had AA experience. That's not the same as an Outriders, because it's coming from a AAA third party publisher, and so that the reason why it became so pivotal with that is that it's the first one to try it, and so it could be kind of like in the sense that most people or in anything will wait for someone else to take a risk before they take a risk. Publishers or in this industry period are more risk averse than we would like to see. They don't like to take risks with unique games. They want proven quantities so that they can make money and go to their shareholders and say, hey, look, we're doing good. You know, your investment is taken care of. Taking a risk like this, it seems to be working out. Their game is doing great. Whether it was going to do great with Game Pass or not, the fact that it's doing great with also being day in day on at launch on Game Pass is going to signal to other publishers that, hey, we could put one of our games, maybe not the best game, not the game that we are counting on the most this year, and be all right. And maybe it could be a game that we're not quite certain what we're going to find from this game or where it's going to go, but we can make sure we get a guaranteed number of people on one of the platforms is coming out on, giving the game a shot. And so that I think we're going to see probably 2 more publishers put games day and day on Game Pass before the year is up. I'm fairly certain of that. We got another super chat. Shout out to Dirt Griggity, $5 super chat. I appreciate that, man. Said 23 million is pretty good for Game Pass, and I believe it's going to only get better. This is before the, as Pong Soul said, avalanche of games drop. So yeah, I think they're going to continue to get that content coming in. And it's going to be interesting because it's something else that I said before is that this is some people still don't like this, but it is what it is. For Xbox division, for Microsoft, Game Pass is the platform. Yep. So everything that they do going forward is going to be about Game Pass. If they come up with a new service or a new idea or a new feature, it's going to be some kind of, hey, and this will be with no additional charge if you have Game Pass Ultimate. It's going to be that kind of thing. And so going forward, you're going to see them focusing on that the most. And when Phil says that when it came to Bethesda, everything that we do, if you will guarantee you want to play these games that Bethesda's coming out with in the future, they will be everywhere that Game Pass is. So like the box, it's not the focus no more. PC is PC, but it's not solely their focus. Their focus is solely just Game Pass. So it's interesting to see, and it's definitely making this next generation way more exciting than the previous one.
I know, and we haven't even gotten to the first party games yet. That's the crazy part of it. But shout out to RRD. He was like, worked they at 10 million this time last year, and they pretty much they could have been at 10 million around it because they announced 18 million in January this year.
Yeah.
So they probably could have been.
I think they announced over 10 somewhere in like summer. I'm not certain. If it wasn't around now, it was sometime closer to probably around the time E3 would have happened or something like that. They announced it as part of their around their push or something like that. But I mean, 5 million, I mean, even if it was 10 million a year ago to 13 million in a year and a half, pretty much, or just a year, that's a lot of people. And everybody always talked about what was going to be the thing that was going to move in Game Pass, because all we kept talking about is Xbox in their first party. You know, when is the first party games coming? And that's what people were always focusing on. But shout out, you know, I love to toot our horn. I'm never going to say I hate to do it, because no one hates to toot their own horn. Anybody that tells you they do, they lying to you. But we going to toot our own horn here, because we've been saying this on Brat Podcast for the last year and a half. All they had to do was find third-party suitors that wanted to play ball with them, and the service would be fine. Because ultimately,
smart people knew, and this is the thing, nobody wanted to talk about the elephant in the room, that once again, Xbox gamers are going to be waiting for the games to come. That is something that has plagued Xbox gamers throughout all of last generation. We were always waiting for the next thing. It was always wait to E3, wait till next year, wait till the Xbox One X comes out, wait till the Xbox.
Technically, there's still a wait.
Yeah,
there's still a wait for these games.
There's still a wait for these games, but the difference is, now that we have a service, like Slow-Mo said, the narrative has shifted, because it's not about just their first party anymore, because not third party, but Game Pass is the vehicle. That is their exclusive going forward. They have an exclusive that you can instantly get discounts in on any game that goes in there. Whenever they drop their first party games, you instantly get those day and date. And now you're getting the creme de la creme. You're getting good third party games in there. Now, Outriders withstanding, it's still a fun and phenomenal game when it works. We don't need games like that to be kind of the poster child of what Game Pass is. And hopefully with time, they fix that game. But if we can start getting games like, I saw some people in the chat just talking about it, Battlefield 6, day and date on Game Pass, sign me up. These are all things that I think is going to make Game Pass go to that next level that people didn't think was going to happen. We didn't I think the whole MLB thing was I think that's an anomaly, because I think Sony was just asleep at the wheel when that whole situation came to fruition for them. Do I think
they
something like
never allowed? I might anger some people by saying this, but they should have never allowed it to get on Game Pass. They should have had some kind of clause in the contracts with MLB, and when they renewed the MLB license, that said you can't put this on a competitive streaming service. Put this on a competitive platform. Cool. We, in order for us to keep this license, and I know it put them in a difficult spot, because one, you got an entire studio in Sony San Diego that only does this. They built a proprietary engine specifically for this game, and if you lose this license, you have very limited options here. You can have them decide to make their own IP, but coming up with a pitch for that is going to take time. Coming up with a prototype and an idea for that takes time. You could probably have them be a co-development studio for someone who needs the help in the meantime.
Yeah.
But you're going to almost positive you're going to lose good people who maybe don't want to do that. Really just, hey, look, I just wanted to work on a baseball game. Or they may end up getting poached by whoever would pick up the license, EA, or just whatever. It will put you in a difficult spot. I get that. So I get why they chose to do the deal and say, all right, we'll put the game on other platforms. But all that said, you could have tried to make sure that this didn't happen. Because at this point, you're actually helping Xbox in the one way they want to be helped the most, and that's through driving content to their streaming services. That's it, streaming. My bad. Their subscription service.
Their subscription service.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Shout out to Wolf of Darkness. Welcome to the podcast, sir. Thanks for stopping by. But ultimately, it just comes down to one thing: games. And it doesn't matter if they're first party or third party. As long as there are games in there every month, that's all that matters. And I think the problem with Sony and MLB is the fact that this already happened this year. And if MLB, because MLB has the publishing rights for the baseball game on Xbox, MLB might do this again next year.
Because go to Game Pass again?
It might go to Game Pass again next year.
Well, it's all depends on, I think, the performance of the game.
Yeah, it depends on the performance of the game.
And on the Xbox platform overall, we don't know that yet. Well, we'll know that like a month from now. We'll have a better idea of how that went. And if MLB is fine with that and wants to go forward with it, because clearly this is out of Sony's hands.
Okay, I don't know if Racer is just trolling here, but he says Forte wants to paint it like something clever happened. Dude, this is business. Sony was probably arrogant enough to think that MLB on Game Pass wouldn't hurt them. Are you serious?
What? Why would they think that it wouldn't hurt them? Like,
It does nothing but hurt them.
Look, in any, right? Okay, you want to talk about business? Let's discuss, excuse me, discuss business. Anybody who has a competitor wants their competitor to fail at the one thing that is most important to them.
Right.
Giving them content for their subscription service, which is the most important thing for Xbox, is not hurting them. Okay, hurting them would be depriving them of that, which is what is rumored that they're trying to do with Resident Evil 8.
Yep.
That's good business. Putting in, hey, look, we signed a marketing deal. Therefore, with this marketing deal, if you're taking our money, you're also not going to put this game on Game Pass for X amount of time until after launch. That and if you feel if they feel that is spending the money on that was important enough, to so be it. That is doing good business. That is trying to protect your platform and hurt your competitor in a way that they really don't want to be hurt. I don't think them thinking, oh well, just put the game on Game Pass. But no, I don't think that was something that they wanted to see happen at all. So yeah.
They definitely didn't want to see that happen, but it is what it is. But yeah, Game Pass is the vehicle that's going to drive Xbox going forward. And congratulations, Xbox, for 23 million subscribers. And what do you, okay, before we move on to the next subject, what do you think it's going to, by the end of this year, or E3, what do you think it's going to be by E3? And what do you think it's going to be by the end of the year?
By E3, probably 25 million. Nah, E3 is just a month away.
About a
Actually,
month away.
If you look at the pace they're going, because they did 5 million in 3 months. If a month and a half, they did 2 more, like 25 million probably by E3. And they'll probably make that announcement because it's E3. And they'll probably make that announcement sometime. Like Sarah Bond will pop out. She runs Game Pass, right?
Yeah, she does.
Sarah Bond. Yep. Yeah. Sarah Bond probably would come out, and we never. Let me stop. I was gonna say like you're never don't care for seeing Sarah Bond.
I was about to say you got you a semi crush on Sarah Bond.
No,
Man,
no.
She got legs.
Look,
She's a very nice woman. She could be the head of Xbox one day when Phil Spencer decides to step down.
We see. All I'm saying is that, like, what I was trying to say was that she's very energetic, and she always seems to bring good, demeanor towards everything that she's involved in. That's all. Anyway, so she probably will come out and she will probably say, yeah, hit 25 million by the end of the year. Who knows? Because it's I think that's too far out to really tell. It all depends on what I said about whether Game Pass actually.
you right. You thinking about Sarah Bond now.
You need to stop. You really need to stop. It all depends on if Game Pass actually lands more exclusives throughout the year. So if they get like 2 more, like I said, I predict like they get 2 more before the year is up. I think that could really drive them well over like close to like in between 30 to 35 million. Yeah. But it all depends on what those 2 are too. So if they got 2 more day and date, but they're like more in the vein of like the medium, and less like Outriders, then that's not much of an impact. But if it's more games like Outriders, like I don't know what else Ubisoft has in store for the rest of the year, or Activision, or 2K, or EA. But if we know Battlefield 6 is definitely coming, but it's just it all depends on what kind of games those games are. Because if there's something that is majorly marketed by those publishers, something that all gamers know of and everyone's looking forward to, or a significant number of people are looking forward to, then you're gonna get a lot more people testing the service out who already have either a PC with Game Pass or Xbox with Game Pass. But we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out. Cat Daddy said it will definitely hit 30 million with Starfield if it comes out this year. If
I can see that too. Yeah.
well, I
Big
think I
major.
Yeah, I think Game Pass for this year is going to be tied to the next couple of months. We already know what the end of the year is going to be with at least Halo being in there. Starfield can definitely push it above 30 million because I think a lot of people at that point will probably want to jump into the ecosystem. But it really depends on what they do for next month, what they do for June and July. Whatever games they can get in there around those times to keep this train consistent and all the content that people feel like they're getting of value, the more they do, the higher that number is going to go. If we can get something like, if right now we still know what's going on with Final Fantasy VII Remake, a lot of people thinking that Sony could have locked it up for another year, but they haven't said anything. So maybe if we get a Final Fantasy VII Remake on Xbox in Game Pass, that could be something that can actually spur more growth in numbers too. Because and guess what? Xbox ain't gonna hold it behind hold you up from getting the basically the next gen version, because that's one thing I noticed about Game Pass and Xbox, the whole smart delivery thing. They ain't gonna charge you for those extra uploads and those extra bells and whistles that the game have in it. They're just gonna give it to you as part of that subscription service, and they have done that consistently with every game that's come out. So there's a lot of different ways they can go with it, and I'm super excited to see exactly what happens with that. But slow mo. Let's move on to the next subject, which what? Let's talk about Returnal. And
Okay. Let's do that.
Let's talk about Returnal. Now, I made some pretty off the wall marks because some people felt like over the last week. Me and Slow Mo talked about these, so he already knows where I'm going to go with this. But I made some very off the wall marks last week, and kind of earlier this week about not wanting to buy Returnal because I don't see the value in it. I don't think it doesn't look like it's a good enough game to be $70. And I don't know, man. I might be a little wrong, man. I might, after seeing that, I might be wrong. After
wait,
listen, I might be wrong.
I didn't hear you. My bad. My headset was off.
Listen,
so I couldn't hear what you were saying. Could you repeat that sentence one more time for me?
Slow Mo, your boy Forte might be wrong. He might.
Oh, you might be wrong.
I might be wrong.
Were wrong about something. Wow.
I'm wrong about a lot of things, but listen, I might be wrong about this because look, my thing is I haven't seen anything of note that I wanted to actually like dive into and see. Like the cut-ups of the gameplay look cool. I was like, okay, it looks cool, but like what's the story? What's it actually going to play like? And then I saw the 17-minute demo and I was like, yo, bro, this looks fire. I was like, this looks so fire. I was like, now trust me, and I'm a fan of House Marquee, so that kind of plays into it too. But after seeing that 17 minutes, I was like, I am more willing to accept the fact that this game might be a day one purchase, but I'm still fighting against this game being $70 because I just don't know yet. But ultimately, I am more closer to buying this game than I thought it was going to be a week ago. And guess what? That's the power of actually seeing gameplay that's not chopped and screwed to all heck, so you can actually get a sense of what the game actually feels. And well, not feels because we didn't get a chance to play it, but looks like. I think this game probably would get even more fanfare than it gets now if there was some type of demo out there that people could probably try out the first level or something. Pretty much like how Outriders did. But Sony didn't decide to go in that route. But for me, seeing that 17-minute gameplay really kind of changed my opinion on if I'm going to get this game or not day one. I still haven't decided yet. But like I said, we're all about transparency here on DPS. Your boy might be buying this game day one. Slow Mo, go ahead and kill me.
No. I think you fell on your sword pretty well there. Congratulations, good job. That was good.
Okay.
I think I think this is a game I was always on the fence for. It looked interesting, but without seeing any more like for the gameplay, I was kind of like I don't know yet. The price tag, I still contend on the price tag is a mistake. I'll get to that in a moment. But as far as what I saw with the game, I liked what I saw. I think the premise is interesting. It's definitely caught my interest with that, but the gameplay itself, the fast pace of it, I like that. I like what I saw. I think I'm definitely going to play the game. I think whether it's I play it day and date, not quite sure yet. It depends. It depends on what I'm currently playing at the time. Maybe I will play it day and date, but and I'll give it like I'll probably beat it within 2 weeks so that I will make sure that I have Mass Effect Legendary Edition, my docket freed up for Mass Effect Legendary Edition. That is, but I like what I saw, and hey, I think Housemarque has always been a good developer. So that there really shouldn't good developers, I think, have a really good time going, easier time going out of their comfort zone and doing something different. We know the kind of games that Housemarque usually does. This is a little bit different for them.
Yeah.
I've always been on the side of giving developers the benefit of the doubt when they decide to do something different, and me expecting it to work out. It's the same way I feel about Playground Games and Fable. You know, they have nailed it with the racing genre. Yes, an action RPG is really different from that, but I think what stays consistent and is the common denominator when it comes to good studios and where they go to move to different genres and not is their workflow, their culture, how they do that work. And it's if you're consistent in making sure that you do good things like good post-production procedures to make sure the games aren't super buggy, getting the right people to that know a certain genre really well to make sure you don't make the mistakes that others before you have made. I think Respawn Entertainment was really good with that when they did Jedi Fallen Order. Some people were doubtful of that game, but Respawn's a good developer. They can switch gears like that and do that genre justice. And so I think you could put Housemarque in that category, and I think this really elevates them in a lot of people's eyes to the kind of developer that they are. So all that said, yeah, I'm definitely going to pick the game up, whether it's day and date at launch or whatever. I don't know yet. I'm not quite certain, but it's definitely a game I will be playing. Now, my comment about the price is a mistake is because of this. I'm not going to get into the whole debate about $70 games. I know there's some people who are hardline. $70 games is wrong. You shouldn't be charging this price, period. And there's some that's just like, whatever, when you broke, it's just $70. I'm not on either one of those sides. I don't believe that anyone really is hard up for paying $70, period. I think it's more of a principle thing with people.
Yeah.
Regardless, my personal feeling is that I will spend as much as I want to spend up to a certain limit on a game that I like. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, I don't even want to put a price on what I would pay to play that game. Because I don't even want EA to get any thoughts in their head. So they're just going to have to guess because I'm not going to tell them. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Final Fantasy VII Remake, same way. If it's a game, if Square Enix came out with a Chrono Trigger remake, matter of fact, maybe this will convince them to make that. I will spend over $100 for that. Okay, that's just when it comes to the kind of games that you like or what you're interested in. The price varies. If it's a fighting game, I don't like fighting games. It could be free 99. I'm not playing it. I'm not getting it. So it's all subjective. And so I think that always gets discounted. Now but pure economics of things, the higher in price you go, the less people are willing to spend that amount of money.
Yep.
So you're going to start to get people to kind of check out when the price gets higher. Now $70 isn't that much higher than 60, but you have a brand new IP that doesn't have it's not a household name. People don't know. Only people know about this game is hardcore gamers.
Yeah.
And honestly, after seeing how Sony felt about Days Gone, they want more than just hardcore gamers buying these games. So I think if they really want it, for the sake of Housemarque, who's putting their blood, sweat, and tears into this game and want it to be really successful and potentially a sequel or whatever they want to do, I think for a brand new IP from a AA developer, typically that's now doing their first AAA game, to price it like that was a mistake. And because it's not something that casual gamers are going to jump on. They may get it, they may not. That's all depends on how Sony markets it and if it even gets seen by them.
Right.
And I think Sony has made a couple of pricing missteps already. Well, not a couple, but definitely with Destruction All Stars. How in the world did they think that was a $70 game? but before they drop the price, have you lost your mind? Like, that just shows where what you think the value of some of these games are is a bit out of whack. And so I think if this was like bless you, if this was a $60 game, no problem at all. I think a lot. It's all the perception, because yes, it's just $10 more, but the perception to people is like, huh? So yeah, it is what it is. But I think this game could be a really quality title. Hopefully, it does. It's not, when it comes to performance, it's not like in the vein of Control, which I think was a really, really very good game, a very good quality title. But Control didn't sell well. But Control, what Control was able to do, what 505 Games, the publisher, and Remedy were able to do, was they were able to take this quality game that they knew people would want to play because it's good, but people just weren't willing to spend money on it, and put it in every sub-service you could find. They took every exclusive deal they can get, and it boosted services. It boosted PS Plus. It boosted Game Pass. Epic Game Store had it exclusive for 6 months or whatever.
Yep.
They did whatever they could to make sure that game was available to people. And in the end, Remedy made off well with all the upfront money that they took. But that's not something that's Returnal and Housemarque could do, because this game's only going to be on PlayStation 5. So you kind of you make it limited and its ability to, if the game doesn't sell well, for you to find other avenues to make money. And so I'm a little concerned about that, but I think the game will be good.
No, yeah. From what I saw of it so far, I always thought the game was going to be good. Like I said, it was just more of, I'm just on this whole principle thing. Ever since most of these games have been coming out, it's like they haven't been working day one. Glitches here, delays there. Games should have been pushed back to actually make them better than they are. And I'm not saying that this game was that, but it's kind of like more of a snowball rolling downhill. It's like the more and more it happens, you kind of get more bias against games that you think are going to be good. Unless it's a game that I'm truly invested in, like something like Destiny or even Halo or Battlefield, stuff like that, then I'm willing to, kind of roll the dice on that, because I kind of already know what the game's already going to be. And, let's be for real, you're very tolerable to the things that you actually love and like. I know a lot of Detroit Lions fans here that tolerate the Lions, they terrible. And I don't understand why, but they do. And that's just kind of how things that you love actually do. But the thing is, you don't give anything else a chance, because it's like, well, I just can't do that because I just don't like it or something like that. So that's kind of where I came from with the situation. But overall, the gameplay looks phenomenal. It's very fast paced. I like the 60 frames per second aspect of it. I can only imagine what it would look like on PC running at above 60, like 120 frames. Pull that camera view back a little bit more, you get that more asymmetric type gameplay, where it looks like a twin stick shooter almost. Because that's kind of what this game reminds me of what they're doing. It's kind of that's what they do.
It's a twin stick shooter in a 3D
third person environment.
Third person environment, which works.
It works.
You would think just based off of that sentence that I just said, that how does that work? But they made it work. They
took what they're good at. That's what they're good at. Games like that. Oh, I was gonna go back and get it. Yeah, I was going.
Big Mike,
go ahead.
$2 super chat. Sounds like Slow Mo's trying to get a side chick. Mike, stop it. Okay, stop. No, we not doing this, man. We not going.
Slow Mo's wife listens to this stuff, man.
Yeah. Let's.
We ain't trying to have him taking pictures of himself on the couch and saying, "What did y'all do to me?"
Well, first of all, that ain't happening. But second of all,
so your wife would never put you on the couch?
Can we get back to the topic? Is what I'm saying.
I'm just saying. You said that would never happen. I'm just
saying it would never happen.
Yo,
we don't need to be.
Be like Miss Slaps.
I'm not trying to get stabbed. Is what I'm saying.
I don't want you to get stabbed. Listen.
Yes, let's move on.
Okay, move on.
Do you want to talk about Jim Ryan?
Yeah, I mean that was the next thing that was the segue going from the Sony into another Sony thing. And Jim Ryan, first of all, he came out and there's a lot of things that Jesus Christ, there's a lot of things that Jim Ryan did over the course of the last week. But the latest thing, we'll kind of keep it current. The latest thing is he came out in an interview and he talked about how exclusive games are going to be very plentiful on the PlayStation 5 platform. Saying this is going to be the generation that we see the most PlayStation 5 exclusives. And I was like, yo, this is a stark contradiction to what the man was saying earlier when he's talking about we only going to focus on big blockbuster AAA games and stuff like that. And I'm like,
I don't think it's a contradiction, but go ahead, continue.
No, I mean, when I mean contradiction, because I'm thinking like they only have how many studios?
They have 13.
They have 13. Now, unless
13 or 14.
Now, unless all these now this is the thing we don't know. We do know Naughty Dog has 2 teams. We do know the Gorilla Cambridge and Gorilla. They have a couple of different teams. So we know they have 2. We know all these studios do have multiple teams, and we also know that Sony being, even though they're not making Days Gone 2 right now, let's emphasize that they aren't making it right now. That doesn't mean it won't come out in the future. They're just not making it right now, but they are working on another AAA exclusive for Sony. So it is another game in the pipe that people are going to get a chance to, at some point, hopefully in this generation, going to get a chance to play. But that's the only way I see it being the biggest and most exclusives. I mean, how many exclusives they came out with a lot of exclusives last generation. Now, AAA, that probably is the jumping off point, because there was a lot of AA games that did release on the PlayStation 4 that was of that quality. But the thing is, their AA games are actually really, really good too. You know, if you play Days Gone was a AAA game. If Days Gone came out now on a PS5, that game might be a 90 Metacritic. Because that game runs, the problems that game had at launch are solved right now due to the PlayStation 5 and just patches that the game got over.
A 90 Metacritic?
No, I think, okay, well, 85 at the low. I think it would have got to an 85 because I think the game plays so much better now.
Well, yeah, but that kind of, like, I saw some of the reviews.
Yeah.
Some of the reviews of the game some of them talked a lot about the issues the game had, the bugs the games had, but some of them also complained about the story, whether you agree with that or not, or
right.
And some of the game design choices that Sony decided to go with. So I think with all those things still being present, that would have bumped it into, I could see it being like mid 80s for certain, yeah, but 90s not
a stretch. But I just think what was it, a 77 or something, or 76 before? Can't remember. 77. So I can see it easily being in the mid 80s if it came out now versus when it came out before. But
Days
that's
Gone was a 71
oh, it was
actually.
a 70. Oh no, I take that back. Then it would have been just it would have been it would have been like an 81 or 82 if that was the case. I don't see it jumping 20 whole points.
Yeah, nah,
Yeah, but I can see 80.
not off of just fixing some bugs.
No, yeah,
Nah.
it would have jumped to like an 80 or something. I probably would say 81, 82. I could see that, but yeah, not. Ooh, that's kind. I thought it was like a 77 or something, but it ain't gonna jump that much. But you know what? Even with that being said, Slomo, what do you think about his statements? And we're gonna get into some other statements that he said too. But what do you think about the statements around just more exclusive games ever? You know, did any other platform ever come into the PlayStation 5?
Well, let me go through. I'm looking at his quotes now. I'm gonna go through each one.
Go
So
ahead,
the
read it
first,
up.
we have been quietly. Ryan said we have been quietly but steadily investing in high quality games for PlayStation. I think the whole quietly part is the kind of counter some of the people in the PlayStation community who have been upset with how quiet they've been. But I'll continue, and we will make sure that the PS5 generation will have more dedicated software than ever before. Now, with that, I know some people are looking at his previous comment and saying, "Nah, man, you said y'all were focusing more on bigger games and not so much the smaller games, and those will take longer, and that's going to be less games overall, but higher quality games." I think, and I'd be remiss to try to be like defending Jim Ryan, not defending Jim Ryan, but I think he's talking about two different things here, really.
Right.
What the previous comment he made like a year or two ago was more talking about first party and what first party was doing. I think people are thinking when he makes this quote, he's talking about first party. He's not. Look at what they've been doing in the past year. They've been locking down exclusive third party games or timed exclusive games. I think they are shifting from their first party studios doing those kind of double A games or those triple A games, but not necessarily the big, massive blockbuster budget triple A games. They're shifting away from that, where you would used to get a Gravity Rush kind of game coming from Sony Japan. You're going to get that level of game coming from a third party that they did a deal with. And so that kind of goes into, for example, the announcement they did today. And by the way, all these announcements, they just kept like all this stuff was coming out all at once. This was
Right.
clearly planned to counter what the PlayStation community has been saying,
Pretty
which
much.
is you're too quiet. What are you doing? We don't know what you're doing. Meanwhile, your competition is getting all these games, including your games, into Game Pass. What's up? This is clearly to counter all of that. But today it was announced that PlayStation and Firewalk Studios have a publishing partnership for a new original multiplayer IP. And I know some of you be like, yo, who the hell is Firewalk Studios? Well, Firewalk Studios is a brand new team, it's a AAA development team that many of them used to work for Bungie.
Yep.
Many of them used to actually work, some of them used to work on Guitar Hero 2, Bioshock, Call of Duty, Mass Effect, Apex Legends. So they got a number of different people on staff that have worked on AAA games before. Now, there's no guarantee the game's going to be good. Counterplay Games, who made Godfall, had people on their squad that made Division, that made Destiny, that made Diablo. They had a whole number of developers and their 90-person team that had done looter shooters before, and they gave us Godfall that seemed to make a lot of mistakes that you would think that if you had made looter shooters before, you should know better. Anyway, but those kind of announcements are to show people that, yeah, you're getting games. You're not getting them from our first party. And let me correct that. You're getting more games that aren't AAA blockbuster games. They're just not coming from the first party. They
Right.
are coming for PlayStation though, but they're coming from sources that you may not be all that familiar with, or just some of them you are familiar with, and they may be just timed exclusive. But you'll be able to play it only on PlayStation 5 or first on PlayStation 5. So that's where I think Jim Ryan is really trying to convey to people. But he didn't say spend 5 minutes saying it like I just did. He had one soundbite.
He did.
Another quote is, "We have repeatedly engaged in mergers and acquisitions, including Insomniac Games in the U.S. We will not rule out that option in the future." That's just telling people that if the opportunity arises and it looks good for them, that they will acquire more studios. I still think, this is just my opinion, that they are not really on that acquisition tip that Microsoft is. Microsoft is actively trying to accumulate more pieces for the war chest,
Right.
because they got a service that they need to keep people engaged in and want people to remain subscribed to. And so they need to get more developers that they know can just drop content you can only get within their subscription service in order to do so. Sony is in a different place. They don't feel that they need to do that, whether people disagree with that or not. Regardless, Sony is really just trying to protect their own. They acquired Insomniac because that was just a smart deal. The money they purchased them for, what, 200-300 million, they could have used just some of the revenue they got off of the first Spider-Man game Insomniac did to fund that. So that was easy. But you could probably see them try to acquire, like, if Microsoft or Epic or whoever, Amazon, try to go after Bluepoint Games, you can see them probably acquire Bluepoint to protect an asset that they have, because Bluepoint does nothing but make content for them.
Right.
Someone else acquires them, that's a loss for them. So yeah, you can see them kind of doing things like that. What's the? I'm sorry, I got distracted by something in the chat. People are saying stop the background video.
Was there a background video? Oh, okay.
Why stop the? I don't know why people are saying that.
I think it was something they was hearing in the background, like my desktop audio, probably, for some reason. Okay,
all right. Well, maybe they'll explain that better. I don't hear anything, but maybe that's just. Of course, you're running the stream, so I don't know for certain. But yeah, guys in the chat, go ahead and maybe if you have. Do you have the sound playing from the back from the video?
No, that's what it was. I just muted it.
Good grief,
good grief, slow mo. Absolutely.
I mean,
yep, good grief, slow mo.
No, good grief.
No,
Forte.
No, good
what
grief.
Are you doing,
no,
man?
Geek just said it's gone. So good on you, slow mo.
So look, I don't know if anyone even heard anything I was saying, that they've been hearing the video game that the video that you've been running the entire time. I apologize, guys. We'll get all this stuff sorted out.
The gameplay you see in Days Gone is just the beginning of it. It's none of the story beats throughout it. It's like literally.
Yeah, I think this is just.
It's literally the very beginning of the game.
Yeah. I think it was just the audio was. Hopefully, you guys heard what I was saying before, but to move on. Jim Ryan said that it is important for us to provide software that fits the Japanese gaming community, and PS5 has included a lot of software from Japanese developers since its early stages. We will continue to strengthen our ties with Japanese developers and release content for PS5 that fits the Japanese market. Yeah, again, I think that still ties into them making more deals with third parties than them doing things with first party, because as we know, they restructured Sony Japan. The restructuring essentially means that basically they're just going to be doing Astrobot content, it seems.
Yeah.
I don't know for 100% for certain what they're going to be doing, but don't expect like another Gravity Rush and games like that. So them shifting away from first party titles doesn't mean that they're not going to do second party, third party titles for. Okay, yeah, good. People said they could hear me well. Good.
Doesn't mean Slomo would want to kill me if y'all couldn't.
Yeah, I would. Anyway,
he was on his high horse for about 2 minutes.
No, it wasn't.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. Go ahead, bro. I'm just messing with you.
Off well. Anyway, I think that and here is the concern with all that. I think at one point, a long time ago, this is kind of Microsoft's strategy. For first party, they had Halo, they had Gears, they had Forza, and then they relied on a lot of second party developers like Remedy to give them content. And at one point, Epic with Gears before they bought the Gears IP, they relied upon second party content. Hell, even BioWare at one point, when BioWare was at their height, their prime, they were a second party developer for Microsoft, and Microsoft published all of their console games up until EA acquired them. And so that is a lesson in itself, that you can go this route and you can get quality content for your platform this way, but you're I think it's riskier than what you were doing before. So what they did with the past generation with PlayStation 4 is that, yeah, they had that third party content. I mean, they had exclusive games with the Yakuza series. Hellblade at one point was exclusive. Near Automata exclusive. They had exclusive games that were third party
They
games
had a lot
that
of
didn't
them.
go to Xbox. They had a whole lot of them, including their own. But
Yeah.
now you've shifted towards having not as many first party games coming out to have bigger blockbuster games for first party. And you're relying more on those third parties. Those third parties were great experiences but were also filler in between your first party high quality titles. When you're relying on that, and I mentioned BioWare before, when you're relying on that, that becomes a problem. For people who don't understand what I'm saying here, is that original Xbox, BioWare came on the scene with Knights of the Old Republic, one of the best RPGs ever created. Blew up. Jade Empire, really good RPG. Everyone loved it. Mass Effect comes out. Who is this developer? All their games exclusive to Xbox, and then they get acquired by EA. And when they got acquired by EA, they became multi-plat. So then your competition got the same game. Now you don't have that unique quality to your platform anymore. And when you don't own it, when you don't own these second parties and third parties, when you can't control where they put games at and how they do business,
Right.
you always have that risk that one day you could wake up one day and be like that one studio that's always rocked with you, always did their games for you. You never thought they would ever put a game on your competition, and now they're owned by your competition. You don't want that to be you. And so I think that is the risk that they're taking. Doesn't mean that it's definitely going to hurt them, or that like any third parties they're relying on would get acquired. It's a risk. So we'll see if it works out or not. But again, like this goes back to what I was saying before about this generation being way more interesting than the previous one. And let's see what else. So I think the last thing he had here was there are several reasons why. Oh, this is just about PlayStation 5s being difficult to come by. We all know why that is. But
Yeah, we definitely know
been
what that is.
I've been running my mouth for a minute, man. Hey, look, what do you think about all this? What do you think about what Jim Ryan's comments?
I mean, at a certain point, the biggest problem for Jim Ryan is the amount of nothing that they've been saying for the course of the last 3 to 4 months. You know, all this, like you said, this all came out literally because the community backlash was like, you're not saying anything. So we get like this info dump or this info explosion of information that a lot of people just want to actually hear. And some of it more relevant than others. Like, I think a lot of people are going to love the fact that we're going to get more exclusive games on PlayStation 5 this generation than we even got on the PS4, because people think the PS4 generation was fantastic. So that's definitely a good thing. The fact that they're working with new studios and stuff, and they're partnering with them. I mean, we see that with Firewalker. We see it with Jay Raymond and her new studio and everything. So we see what PlayStation is trying to do. The difference is I think they're not really taking in account how much more aggressive Microsoft is Xbox is being this generation. You know, they always Xbox has always been a very talkative bunch when it comes to the things that they want to talk about. They're way more inside of the community when it comes to just talking to people on Twitter, going on podcasts and stuff like that. They're available basically. Whereas with PlayStation, it's more of the button up, we'll tell you information when we're ready to tell you information.
But look, that doesn't mean
that's what I'm saying.
they're not taking Microsoft. That means they're just not telling us what
no,
doing,
that's what I'm
behind
saying.
The
yeah.
scenes,
well, yeah, and they don't always
serious about how like every move Microsoft makes could be having them, let's get together and figure out a counter to this or that. It's just like that kind of stuff. And we don't even see what Microsoft does that either. So it's
right.
I think
it's all it just comes down to the perception. It's like optics.
Yes,
that's what it
perception.
is. That's all it is. I mean, like you're absolutely right. No one knows what Sony knows except for Sony. They're the only ones knows what they want to do. The perception of the matter is everybody is basically riding the Xbox hype train when it comes to all the stuff that they're doing. And guess what? Xbox deserves it because they've been at the forefront of the things that they've been talking about for quite some time now. And it's starting to show fruits of its labor because of the things they're doing, the things they talked about. PlayStation has just kind of went in a different direction. They were very talkative towards the end of the generation, telling people what they were going to get. They were super behind. This is the thing about PlayStation. When they got games coming out, they are the most talkative people in the world. They talk. They the whole we let our games do the talking. They definitely do that. But they also go out there and they let people know like, yo, we got Spider-Man. We're about to go paint a subway system in New York and let you know that we got Spider-Man. We got this. We got that. We got Final Fantasy 7 coming to our platform. Nobody else's for a year. Destiny's available on our platform, and guess what? It can't even be talked about on anybody else's platform. Those are all things that Sony did last generation that instilled consumer confidence inside of their platform. And let's be for real, they ain't even have to do that much because Sony is a worldwide brand and people trust and love what Sony does, especially with their games that they did towards the end of the 7th generation when it came to games like Last of Us and Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3. They left people with a great send-off letter with the PS3 where Xbox literally just screwed the pooch and let Sony just literally take over the whole generation, and Sony didn't look back. Now it's a completely different situation. And I think the moves that they're making are great. It just comes down to the type of gamer you are. Do you want to have as much information as possible? That's the thing I think a lot of people, at least in our community is a very small subsection of all the gamers out there. There's probably not even 2 or 3 million of us. It ain't that many. Trust me, as much as you guys think, we ain't that big. But our 2 to 3 million are probably the loudest voice when it comes to like moving the needle when it comes to things that we actually want. We're the ones that are on Twitter yelling about the things that we wish were in games or the things that we want to see in the next game, or we want to see as a talking point inside the community. That's something that we do. We were the reason that Sony changed the fact that PS3 and Vita stores was going to get shut down. We did that. Normal America didn't do that because guess what? Normal America didn't even know the PS3 store was going to disappear. They didn't know that.
I disagree.
You didn't think they knew? You think no? Well, okay. Well, you know what? Normal news media did pick up on the end. Go ahead.
Yeah, news media did.
They did pick up on it at the end. You're right.
I think it was more of. I don't think the community bullied PlayStation into reversing course. I think they had a major misstep with how they did it. Clearly, you're selling dev kits to developers to develop games on these platforms, and then a month later you don't even tell them that you're shutting down the store. So what do you sell the dev kit to them for? Because clearly they're not going to have the game ready by the time the store is done, and they can't sell it. There was clearly missteps going on here. They put themselves in positions where they angered developers and really hurt relationships, business relationships with people that could be huge assets for them down the road. And I think that's the reason why they realized the mistakes they made, and not knowing what the left hand, not knowing what the right hand is doing. There are miscommunication issues, which we've seen numerous times over the past couple of years. And I think that was the reason why they decided, you know what, let's reverse course on this for everything but PS Plus. And then we'll revisit this later on. So I think what it is eventually going to close down. They're not, because no one's buying the games.
Right.
So like they that's why they feel they don't feel like keeping it open. And that doesn't mean that if you own, say, Heavy Rain on PS3 or Persona 4 Golden on PS or on your PS Vita, that it's not going to work anymore if you decide to re-download that game. No, if you own it, you can re-download it. It's just that's not going to be available for purchase in the store any further at some point. I think what they're going to do is going to organize it better. They're going to have a cutoff point for developers where you will no longer be able to purchase a dev kit to develop the game for. And then once they have reached the point where all the games that they gave dev kits for are in the store and had an opportunity to be sold, then they would do what they planned on doing this year. And that may be 2-3 years down the road, but eventually it's going to come to pass.
Yeah.
My bad. Go ahead, man.
No. You're good. I think the same thing. I just think that overall, Sony's going to be fine as long as the games are still the main talking point for Sony, which at this point, we still haven't seen any instance or any indicators that that's not going to be the thing. So I don't know why everybody's super worried about what's going to happen with them. I just think everybody's just used to having information, and when you don't get that information, it just seems like you're being starved as a consumer, especially when the competitors' platform is doing nothing but communicating. So I applaud them for coming out with all this stuff. When I saw it, it just looked like when you was DMing me all of these topics, I was like, yo, this is like sensory overload. They're literally sending out everything today. Which
they wanted to counter that narrative. They
did.
It goes to show you that they do listen.
They do listen.
They may not have Twitter accounts, but they got a sock account looking at everything that you guys say.
Exactly.
So because like clearly like them coming out with the whole partnership with Asobu, which is something that Blade X wanted us to touch on, and it's something I was going to mention, but you know I might as well mention it now. Asobu essentially they work with indie game creators in Japan, and PlayStation working with them means to me that you can expect more indie unique games from Japanese developers coming out for the PlayStation in the future. So that's good to see, and I think that's a good message to show to hardcore gamers who were concerned about some of the stuff that came out in articles that was accurate. You know, some people don't want to believe is accurate, but accurate. But mostly largely speaking about how first party is going and how first parties game development would be in the future, and not necessarily their way of pivoting towards making sure that they're focused on third party indie developers as well. And that's not even talking about China Hero Project, which they're still focused on getting those games out and helping those developers, like MiHoYo, who did Genshin Impact.
Yeah. So. Genshin Impact. I remember when you played that game religiously.
Man, that was a good 3 or 4 months.
Yeah,
before, I mean 3-4 weeks before I started to see all
the predatory.
No, not the gotcha system. The gotcha system is actually
pretty good for what most people say.
It's actually pretty good. It's not as predatory as it is on mobile. It's you could get a lot of hours in on that game and a lot of enjoyment without spending a single dollar.
Yeah.
I'm talking about more of some of the problematic things with some of the characters.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to. I don't want us to get demonetized or even bringing it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We ain't trying to do that.
If you want to know what I'm talking about, go on Twitter and type in hashtag cancel MiHoYo or cancel Genshin Impact or something like that. Whatever that hashtag was, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Yeah, I had to stop playing that game. That was very
a little too much.
unfortunate. It was very unfortunate.
Someone didn't want his wife to walk in and see what he was playing.
No, that's see, there you go. Look, nothing like that. I'm talking about dialogue stuff.
I know what you're talking about, Slow. I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. So, let's move on to our next topic. We actually got a couple of bonus topics, but I do want to knock this this next one out. Jeff Kaplan, he is leaving Blizzard. And this is like a long, I don't know if you saw it, Slow-Mo, but he wasn't the first person to leave. He wasn't the second, the third, or the fourth, maybe not even the fifth. It seemed like there was a mad exodus from Blizzard over the course of this week. And Jeff Kaplan, if you don't know who he is the lead designer and developer around Overwatch, one of the most successful games that came out last generation. People didn't know what that game was actually going to be, and it turned out to be one of the biggest phenomenons that came out last generation. It actually won Game of the Year, I think in 2015? And yeah, it kind of put esports on the map when it came to consoles all over again, when it came to these last generation systems. So when you heard that Jeff Kaplan was leaving Blizzard, what was the first thing that you thought of, Slow-Mo?
Well, I just kind of felt like, well, I mean, I wasn't shocked because, well, why would you be, considering the number of departures that have happened with Blizzard? They're up there with BioWare with the number of developers that have left. And I'm not surprised because Blizzard isn't Blizzard anymore. Well, I remember coming up when, even before I played any of Blizzard's games, and they were mostly just a PC developer, I knew of them and I knew of their work culture as the game will come out when it's ready.
Right.
And it could be a long development cycle, and it could take a long time, or it could never come out at all if they determined that the game simply wasn't good enough for their level of quality. And unfortunately, that's not Blizzard anymore. That way of doing business to make sure that their games have that Blizzard quality, that doesn't happen anymore. Now they're Activision. And from what we've seen from reports, is when you have Activision business executives in the creative room saying what should or should not be implemented in the game, simply because how long it's going to take for that to actually get implemented or get put in the game, and or how much money it would cost. Like, that's not, none of that crap I think deserves to be in the gaming. And I understand that is a unfortunate part of the industry, but I hate to hear stuff like that. But that's the reality of Blizzard today, and that's the reality when even to the point where I can't remember the name of the studio. Maybe somebody in the chat will name, but there's a brand new studio out there. There's full of former like the entire studio is like
Blizzard
former Blizzard developers. They're making like a kind of like a StarCraft 2 kind of game.
Yep.
And when the culture of your studio has changed so drastically that there's a whole nother studio created that of people who are leaving your studio based off of how bad things or how completely different things are. Like, that's ridiculous. And so I'm not shocked at all that he's leaving. And I think I don't know anyone who's really in the Overwatch community like that. Like, I played Overwatch for
I played it a lot for a little
months.
bit. My kid still plays it a lot.
Yeah, I know. I don't know anybody that still plays it the way like a lot. I played with a few people, some friends, and I played that game like almost every day for a good like 3 or 4 months when it first came out. It got old to me,
Yeah.
and I moved on. But I'm pretty sure that the people in the Overwatch community probably aren't really happy with the way things have been going. I remember them coming up with all this information about Overwatch 2, and they made it seem to me like that was about to come out real soon.
Yeah.
And what was that, like 2 years ago at least? And it's just like, yo, where's Overwatch 2 at? Like, what's happening? And just yeah. I remember a Blizzard that wouldn't show you really much of anything until it was ready to go. And what you expect from them is that when they show you something that is going to come out within a year or so, and that's just not the reality anymore. Unfortunately, we got another super chat here.
Yeah.
J Force Games, $5 super chat. Appreciate that, man. He says, told you today I would get on, but life just got in the way. We'll catch the replay though. Cool, man.
Yeah,
no
Jay.
problem, man.
Shout out to you, Jay Force. He is one of our loyal followers and subscribers. He follows us. He follows Scumcast. He follows you. He follows Brap. He's one of my
Nice.
He's one of my customers at my store today. He stopped in today, and I said, you stopping through the show? He was like, yeah, if I got time, I will. And yeah, always appreciate you coming through, brother. And hope you enjoy all the stuff you bought at the store today. But it's always good. It's always good to just run into, people that, in real life, it makes you realize that everybody's not a creep. And some people are actually really nice people out here. So still doesn't change the fact you got to kind of be careful when you're out here and stuff. But
True.
But that's all that matters, man. Met me a really cool dude. I met him a couple of weeks, like probably a month ago, and him and his family, they're all really, really cool. So appreciate you stopping by. And thanks again for the $5 super chat. But yeah, just ending up, because like you said, it's to us it's not really a big deal, but I know to a lot of people inside of the Overwatch community and just in the Blizzard scene in general, this is another huge loss to them. And I think overall, it's basically a changing of the guard. Blizzard isn't Blizzard anymore. It hasn't been Blizzard for quite some time now. It's only been a couple of the stalwarts that's been left at the company that a lot of people have been hanging on to. And one of the last ones have finally left the company. So ultimately, it's going to come down to our boy Mike Ybarra over there, to fix everything, because if people didn't realize, that's where Mike went when he left Xbox. He's basically also running Blizzard.
Who's the guy that was the head
the
head of the coalition?
Shoot, what is his name? Rod Ferguson.
Rod Ferguson.
Yeah.
I knew it was something Ferguson. I couldn't remember the first
Rod
name.
Ferguson's
Rod
over
Ferguson.
there. He's working on
leading
Diablo.
Diablo, yeah.
Please don't mess up Diablo. I love Diablo.
We'll see. We had a question in the chat actually from Geek Kid 8188. Thought it was pretty interesting, so I brought it up. It says, what's the biggest franchises Microsoft owns? Halo, Elder Scrolls, or Fallout? Actually, while you were talking, decided to look that up. It's actually none of those.
Yeah, definitely. It's called Minecraft.
Yes, they're all Minecraft.
It's called
exactly
Minecraft.
Minecraft is the biggest franchise that Microsoft owns. But out of that three, Halo has sold more copies than Elder Scrolls and Fallout combined. So
that I saw this earlier, and did you see what Call of Duty surpassed this year in lifetime sales since 2016 or 2003?
Tetris?
No, Call of Duty.
No. Look, did they surpass Tetris lifetime sales?
What was Tetris?
I don't know.
I know I didn't read the article. They just said that they passed 400 million lifetime sales of Call of Duty since 2003.
Wow.
400. And look, man, we ain't gonna turn this into a whole Call of Duty conversation. But listen, y'all, Call of Duty, we've been saying Call of Duty was gonna be dead for years. Like Call of Duty dead. This is it for Call of Duty. Call of Duty ain't gonna make it no more. And let's be for real.
Call of Duty's not going.
Call of Duty has reinvented itself in more ways than one. In that game, every time people thought, oh, it's so 30 million, you know, it's a far cry from the 30, 40 million it was selling when it was Modern Warfare 2 and in regular Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, which was like its apex. I mean, some people say Black Ops was the apex, but let's be for real. Modern Warfare 2, Jesus Christ, that was the apex of Call of Duty right there. Especially when it came to, I'm not saying for the love of the game, but just the amount of games sold. I remember when that game came out, that was my first year working at GameStop. And that's when midnight launches were still a thing. We had close to 700 people in line at our store lined up. It was literally going halfway down the block. People were lining up at like 10 o'clock at night so they can get their game. It was ridiculous. It was so many people. That's what Call of Duty, I mean, granted, that's what it used to be. But the fact that it finally passed 400 million sales, that's a lot. And some people are going to say, well, yeah,
but to bring that back to the topic, this is why Blizzard is no longer Blizzard. It's basically an Activision hand.
It is
stuck up the behind of the Blizzard puppet and telling it what to say and do. Because of those kind of sales, they look at the quality and the reputation that Blizzard had and was like, "Yo, we can replicate that here." It's the same thing it does when EA acquires a developer, and you see that developer slowly like switch from the kind of unique, different developer that they were to your typical, let's insert some multiplayer into this largely single player title that people only go to for single player games. But hey, here's that tacked on multiplayer that just wasted resources for no reason and just caused a bunch of problems for no reason. Like typical EA assimilation. Activision does the same thing. It's these massive publishers that really only care about the bottom line, and they'll announce in their earnings calls record-breaking earnings while they simultaneously are laying off hundreds of people. It's just, it makes me sick. It makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
But it's the way of this industry, unfortunately. Shout out to Gerald Mack. Shout out to you for that $5 super chat. The ILP sent me. Shout out to the ILP. Looking forward to watching the replay. Want to see your thoughts on Game Pass. Hail the ILP. That's what's up. Yeah, shout out to the Iron Lords, man. Always good guys over there. Always supporting us, and we support them as well.
Absolutely. Ahead, man. Yeah, man. Call of Duty, man. That's crazy. And then it's kind of when you contrast it versus Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't know what it's at now, but I know what late last year or early the year before they announced that they passed 100 million sold for Grand Theft Auto 5, and that was in a good 9 years. So even in 9 years, it sold 100 million compared to all Call of Duties. Now, who knows what Grand Theft Auto's at when it comes to like the franchise as a whole?
The entire franchise, like 3 that was really popular. 4
was popular. Pretty much all of them ever since 3, like even San Andreas and stuff. Everything ever since then, it's kind of been doing ridiculous numbers. So no one really knows.
5 is clearly sold the most.
Oh, it's clearly sold the most, and I wouldn't put 4 too far. I mean, it's pretty far behind it. For 4, I could see 50, probably 60 million, but who knows? I mean, at a certain point, it's crazy to think that 2 of the biggest franchises in history are owned by 2 of the greediest companies in history, and it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Because 2K, man, they got NBA 2K, they got Grand Theft Auto, and then it's just a shame that Blizzard went the way they went because of, like you said, the whole Activision lane, and it's kind of sad, and it's a reason that Bungie kind of got away from them, and thank God they did, because this could have happened to them, and anything else. But overall, anybody that really loves those type of games or loves hero shooters, I don't think they're dead. But I think, Overwatch was probably the last great one we're going to get unless somebody kind of reinvents it again. There are games like Paladin out there that are actually pretty good and stuff like that, but there's nothing that's going to replace
genres
that.
just kind of they fall out of favor.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing.
And I think hero shooters kind of they don't have that. You can't just make a hero shooter and just like, oh, this is going to print money for me.
Yeah,
No,
and yeah.
even if it's a quality one, it's just not. It's not guaranteed success, and when the number of people who are interested in a genre dwindle, then you got everyone who's making those kind of games fighting over. I can't believe you just hit that car like that.
I
on the
did.
motorcycle.
Oh yeah, I hit that car hard. Yeah, let's be for real. He went flying. But let's be for real. The driving in the game still sucks on that motorcycle. It still sucks.
And that's Days Gone for anyone who's going to be listening to this or the replay and not knowing what I'm talking about.
Sir Taz says Halo has sold over 70 million copies, and that's kind of just contrast that versus Call of Duty was kind of the beginning of the end of because Halo is still popular.
Yeah,
but Call of Duty killed it.
This year is 81 million. Yeah, that's what I saw as well, Taz, when I looked up whether Halo had outsold Elder Scrolls and Fallout, and essentially it's outsold both of them. But
yeah.
Anyway, what was I saying? I was talking about.
Oh, you were talking about a lot of things.
I was. You know what? It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. I'm getting old and I forget things.
No, yeah, you're good. So you sent me a tweet from what's his name? Jesus Christ. Hip Hop Gamer, talking about gaming journalism. No sight of African American gaming journalism is on the horizon, and something that he said in the video. Really, I watched it, and when you think about it, it's really interesting. That when you don't even really think about it until someone brings it up. So why don't you go ahead and tell the chat and everybody that's listening and watching what happened, or your take off of it.
Yeah, no, and first, shout out to Hip Hop Gamer for bringing up the topic, and I think he sparked the conversation, and this is going to eventually is going to lead to a roundtable that we're trying to do with Enrique from BRAP and getting developers, African American developers, as well as African American journalists in the gaming media together to kind of talk about their experiences, how they got to the positions that they are, and what did they see are the issues with the difficulties for those who are minorities in getting into this kind of field, the STEM field in general. And I can only talk from my personal experience, but and if you're not aware, I am a network engineer. That's what I do. I don't work in the video game industry. I wouldn't work in the video game industry, so I don't want to work them hours. So I'm just keep it the buck. But I work in the IT field, and I wish I had some of the resources that I see available in my community when I was growing up that I see in other communities. And what I mean by that is I'll use a very, very specific example. I remember showing some my coworkers how to use something called Cisco Packet Tracer. We were setting up. I at the time was setting up a test for applicants because we would always get people who would apply, and they would have all this Cisco stuff. As Cisco was, they create networking equipment. They also have they create Cisco iOS, which is the command line interface as for their equipment, as well as other products as well that are out there. But I always get people to come in, they be like, yeah, I know Cisco.
Right.
But then they don't even know how to apply an IP address onto a Cisco router. They don't know, they're completely lost. And so I set up a test for our company so that whenever people would say they had networking experience, and we would pull out this laptop with Cisco Packet Tracer and be like, have at it, solve this issue. And I'm not gonna get into how many people could actually do it or not. It's not important, but I'm showing this, setting this up and showing this to some of my coworkers. And I had this intern. So this intern, he's straight out of college. He was still in college at the time. Great guy, and he, not an African American, was looked at and was like, "Oh yeah, man, I did stuff like this in high school." And I just looked at him like, "You what?" And he's like, "Yeah, I did stuff like this in high school." I was like, "You had classes like this in high school?" Yeah. He just kind of looked at me like, "You didn't?" And I'm like, "Hell no, I didn't." Let me tell you what computer classes in my high school was like. Here is the internet. This is how you get on the internet. This is a computer, and we basically that was look. It was the basic of the basic. Okay, it was stuff that you already knew, and people spent that time period in class busy socializing and not really learning anything. This intern went on to tell me that he had programming classes. He learned how to code in high school. He learned the basics of networking. He learned what people essentially learn in like A plus about like uh IT hardware and things like that. He learned all that stuff in high school, and I'm just like, was this like a mandatory class? It's just like I was completely thrown for a loop, and it's interesting how in some communities there aren't resources like that. There aren't those things aren't taught, and I think the IT field is a great field to be in because regardless of what happens in the economy,
Right.
where people you will see certain industries start to fall by the wayside. So certain industries have issues and problems, and people lose jobs. It's difficult to. I great example is that when I graduated from college, I graduated with a different degree. Coming out of college, and when I went into college, my field was hot.
Right.
When I came out of college, my field wasn't hot anymore, and it was difficult to find a job. That's never an issue in IT, never. And so when you see a community that struggles in certain areas when it comes to overall nationwide with wealth and getting these kind of roles and being in position to later on be able to get better positions, higher positions, to get into higher levels in the organization. But I think it really starts at the education level.
Right.
There's like you forget winning the race when you're not even prepared to be at the starting line. So it's just it's unfortunate, and I hate to see that so many people who have potential could learn how to do this stuff and could really enjoy it, just don't even have the opportunity.
Yeah. When you brought it to my attention and I saw it, I was like, why didn't I? It's like we talk about it all the time. We always talk about where's the representation when it comes to, the things that we talk about. We don't have those people inside of, like, if you make news videos and stuff like that, or you just like talking about video games, you don't really see that represented at the higher end. So it's like I really didn't think about it until that was like something you sent me. And I was like, yeah, why is that? But it also falls back to everything else that we always talk about. It's all about opportunity and the people that are in place that will have the opportunity to give you that opportunity. And I think that is one of the biggest things that we as African Americans, or just people in general, have to always fight through every day. It's something that won't change, it seems, anytime soon, because until you start getting people in power like us, it will always be that struggle to even get into a position like that. So I applaud them for coming out and actually bringing a face to it and making it a conversation. And I'm very happy and I'm proud of, Enrique and everyone that's gonna, put this roundtable together to actually make this a discussion and a talking point, because guess what? This is very important. This is something that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but needs to be talked about. It's one of those conversations that can be very uncomfortable.
I know what? I'll go a step further than
Go
that.
ahead.
Because I'm tired of hearing people talking about it, but nothing ever happens.
Exactly.
And that's what I said on Twitter in regards to this, is that I often see people in a position to do something about this,
but say nothing.
Say no. They say things.
Oh,
they acknowledge it's an issue.
Yeah.
But then, like, but what are you doing to fix the issue? What are you working with people to help find a way to fix it? And I think a great example that I recently thought about this was I was watching David Jaffe's interview of John. I keep forgetting this guy's name, but it was not Jeff Ross, but the second interview he did, where he was speaking with the narrative director for Days Gone. And so me personally, I didn't have an issue with this, but some people found an issue with the fact that there were no people of color not any, but there were very few people of color in Days Gone. Now, the game takes place in Oregon. I ain't never been to Oregon before.
Right.
But I imagine the black population in Oregon ain't that big, okay? So it didn't really bother me that it wasn't like a lot of black people in Days Gone. Whatever. But what I found interesting in him speaking to David Jaffe about this was he said that, I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said that he thought about having more black people or more black people with more prominent roles within the story of the game. But then he, being a white guy from Oregon, didn't feel comfortable writing for black characters and having it seem authentic, which I understand.
Right.
I completely understand that you don't want to write some stereotypical black character that people are like, are you serious? Because this is not us, right? Or you don't want to write someone where people feel like, well, this just doesn't, like, what is this? Like, clearly you don't know, or you've never met a black person before, or whatever.
Right.
I think I understand him not feeling comfortable writing that, but you're not the only writer. You have a writing narrative team.
Right.
Why didn't you if this is something you thought that you could use in your game, why didn't you go out and actually try to hire a writer that has that kind of resource for you, that could be on your narrative team and actually could write that for you? It's like you see a problem, but instead of actually providing a solution to it, you just go, oh, well, you know what, it is what it is. We'll just move on. I just won't have those kind of people in my game. And so or not solely those kind of people, but we won't have this kind of representation that I thought about actually having for the story, simply because we don't have people on staff that could actually write to that experience uniquely. But then it seems like they didn't actually take it any further with actually hiring someone that can do that. And I think those are opportunities that are missed.
Right.
So that you could actually have stories that are different. And we see guys like Everborn, our homie Everborn, who's out here. He's doing his thing. He's working on stuff. We see Ariel Knight, these indie African American developers that are working, and we see them get elevated and lifted up from the smaller YouTube channels, but we never really see that from the bigger ones like that. So it's unfortunate.
Well, and that's why, let's be for real, that's why we bring attention to it. Just because we're small doesn't mean we don't have a voice and we don't have the ability to share experiences and things that we think should be shared with our communities and stuff, because that's something I think everybody should do. Now, we're not asking people to go out and share things that they don't believe in, but ultimately, this is all about equality and everything, and everybody having a chance to be the best version of themselves. And that's the one thing that I always try to promote in my life and the people that I know. And You know, if I rock with you, I rock with you, and I'm going to support you no matter what, and I'm going to be there to do everything I can do to do it for you. And I just don't think that happens enough inside of not even just in this community, but just in life in general, because you're only as good as the people that are surrounding you. You can do a lot of things by yourself, but trust me, things get a lot easier when you have a team around you that can support you. And that's the one thing that I want everybody to take away from the conversation. So, like I said, hip hop, that was if you ever get a chance to listen to this and you hear it, that was a very, very good point that you brought up. You know, even though it was like a minute and a half, it was a very powerful minute and a half that kind of brings a light to things that people haven't been really thinking of, or if they haven't been thinking of it, or if they have been thinking of it, they just didn't bring any type of voice to it. And I think that's something that you definitely did. So, you got anything else you want to put around that, Slow-Mo?
No, not at all. But you know, since we mentioned Everborn, guess who just showed up with the super chat? Everborn Saga, the $2 super chat. What's good, fellas? How's it going, bro? Hope you having a good evening. Hope you're having a good time, man. Thanks for checking out the show once again, and also wanted to shout out to Eric Cuts for the win. Erica in the chat, how's it going? Hope you're having a good night as well.
Absolutely.
I think we about curb stomped every topic that we were going to
yeah, we did. We definitely did. So, yeah, we got about 5 minutes or 6-7 minutes left. Anything in the chat that you guys want to ask us, or any questions that you want to bring up today, this is the time to do it. Oh, and also Everborn, game is phenomenal. I really like the structure. It's a couple of things that I would talk to you about. I'll DM you and stuff on the back end, but yeah, the game itself, phenomenal. I like the way that it runs and plays and everything. So I'll reach out to you about some other stuff too when I get a chance. Yeah, man. Nice. I like that's one, and that's a dude that's doing his thing. Doing his thing, man. And we need to support more stuff like that. Felix 420 with the $5 holler. Thank you with the super chat, brother. How many of those subscribers were found at the bottom of the cereal box with a 14-day trial, or while I'm pumping gas? Oh my God.
Not 23 million of them.
Not 23 million of them.
So
it's a couple
not
of
enough. I see your point, bro, but not enough to diminish the gains that service has been having. But I appreciate the super chat, man. It's pretty funny.
Oh, that's funny, man. Listen, man, there's a mixture in there. There's some Pop-Tarts in there. There's some Fruit Loops in there. There's a couple of different types of subscribers in there. But guess what? They all equal up to 23 million plus, and that's all that matters. Oh man, I like that super chat. That's a good one. But
we got a question from Doxaya. Any take on game? I think he means GameStat from Microsoft. Or did you get a chance to watch it, man?
I didn't, man. What was I doing yesterday? I was prepping for this, and then I had the day it came out, I did RDX, so I didn't get a chance to watch it. Did you?
I also didn't get it. I wanted to watch it because I love like all that developer, inside how developers work engines, what they're using, the tools they're using, tools, that kind of stuff. And I didn't get a chance, so I maybe I'll get caught up with things and maybe make a video on it, on my opinion of everything going forward. But yeah, sorry, bro, I haven't really.
Yeah, you know what? We will. What we'll do is when people come to the show next week, we will we'll make probably like a really quick segment to talk about that, because like I said, that was something that I didn't get a chance to look at, and I definitely do want to look at it. So when we talk about it next week on Slow-Mo's channel, we can bring that up as probably a small segment that we can answer those questions if you come back for that one. We got Blade X. He says, is Outriders powered by Microsoft servers? And that is an absolute
by
no.
Microsoft servers?
That is a no.
Yes and no.
No, it's mostly a no because it's peer-to-peer, isn't it?
It's mostly peer-to-peer. So like in sessions in the game, but now that doesn't mean that
it's not full.
Their implementation of the servers has been great, because it hasn't, because the part of the Azure servers that they're using is in regards to accounts, your data. And so when your inventory gets wiped, that's not because it's crappy peer to peer.
Right.
That's that's that there, and it's not a knock against Microsoft or developers that are using Azure and aren't having these issues. I actually heard that Rare, who of course developed Sea of Thieves, reached out to People Can Fly to give them some help with that. And you know, the complaints for Sea of Thieves when it first launched weren't stability issues or you couldn't get online and problems like that. It was due to the fact that the game didn't have any content. So I think Rare probably would have been a really good resource for them to reach out to and can get some help. Hopefully that so far I don't think it's really helping that much, but
Yeah.
so hopefully Rare can help them get some of these issues together. But what they're doing is kind of like a hybrid mix. There's the database administration side of things where they are all the data that you have on your account, where your characters, how many characters you have, your gear, your loot, your weapons, all that stuff is being used and powered by Microsoft servers, Azure. The rest of it is peer to peer.
Yeah.
So and that was done intentionally, I think, because Square Enix didn't want to spend the kind of money that would have been necessary for a brand new IP from a AA developer that would allow them to have dedicated servers like they have for Avengers. But then you look at this, and Outriders has surpassed Avengers' highest number of concurrent players on Steam, has been more successful in general than Avengers. You, it just kind of goes to show that that these executives don't really know what gamers want and what gamers are interested in, and don't really know how to allocate their resources correctly, unfortunately. But
Yeah, that's a good bring up right there. Racer X says, here's my question, guys. Do you think the zombie motif is played out in media, including games?
Wait, say that again, because I was reading something else.
He says, do you think the zombie motif is played out in media, including games?
Yeah, it's a bit oversaturated. Yeah, I think that began with The Walking Dead, when The Walking Dead TV show blew up, and it became one of the most like top 2 or 3 most popular TV shows on television, in media, period, anything. I think that's when it began to kind of get a little. I'm tired of zombies kind of stuff.
Right.
You know, it got a little rough. I think it's not completely played out because those games are always fun to me.
Right.
Like I still play Left 4 Dead with my friends from time to time. Fun game, classic game, one of the best games ever made, if you ask me. And good games don't get old, regardless of the premise, the
Right.
plot. But yeah, when you get too many of them, it becomes kind of an issue, I think. But
Absolutely, yeah, I agree. Artemis also says Dealer and Rand just dropped a video on GameStack, so anybody that wants to know stuff about GameStack, go check out those videos. And like I said, we'll talk about it in the next week, or we might just make videos on it too. You never know. But if we don't make videos, we'll talk about it next week for a short segment on the next episode. George says that the graphical boost they showed off was some crazy stuff, which is cool. Any color you like, he says, hey, you guys, I'm having a real big issue with my Microsoft account. I know the password to the email, but I can't verify it through the older backups, email, and phone number, as I no longer use those. So I had that situation a long time ago with my original Xbox Live account, and they can fix it now. They weren't able to fix it for me back then, but all you got to do is you just got to call customer support and let them know your gamer tag, let them know your email address that is tied to your gamer tag, and they'll ask you like some follow-up questions to verify your identity, and then they can send you reset passwords physically to a backup email. Because I know as of right now, the way it was set up before, they would send your backup email to the email that was on file, which makes absolutely no sense since you don't know the email, the password to that email. So you have to call them, and if you don't have a backup email tied to your Microsoft account, they can literally pencil one in and send it to that backup, but you got to call customer support to get that taken care of. So let us know if you get that taken care of. And
Cool.
Arodimus says the earnings call is next week, so it's going to be a lot of news from that. Absolutely, and that might be the reason they got the Game Pass stuff out already, because they know the earnings call is going to come next week. So that might actually be.
And they normally don't give the
details of that type of stuff. It's always tied under media and entertainment under Xbox, so you wouldn't know exactly how much Game Pass is impacting that. But then again, you might, because I keep hearing, they keep saying that Satya Nadella has structured parts of his compensation plan is from Game Pass subscriptions, which would be, I think
make a lot of sense why it's their platform now.
Right, exactly. He's like, yo,
I want my money, and I want it now.
I want it now, so I need all the money I can get.
Shout out to Iron Lords Podcast. Cognito in the house. What's up, man? He $5 super chat. He says, salute my bros breaking things down on DPS. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, we appreciate you too, Cog. Hope you're having a great night. You're probably working, right? Because the Cog works nights, right?
Yeah, he works nice. But sometimes you never know if he's working or he on vacation, because he takes so many of them.
Oh, he like me, where you got like a whole month of vacation every year.
Exactly. You never know with Cog.
Yeah, man, I need to take a week off.
Yep.
I tell you that.
shout out to the homeboy Everborn Saga again with the $5 super chat. What are your guys' thoughts on the upcoming Mortal Kombat flick? Think it will be good. So I will
go first. Okay,
you go ahead. You go ahead first. I'll go second. Go ahead. You go first.
Okay. Everborn, I don't care if it's good or not, because I got HBO Max. I don't have to go to the movie theater, and I can watch that while I'm working tomorrow in the comfort of my own office. And that's all I'm happy about. Thank you, HBO Max. I appreciate you. I will be excited for Dune when Dune pops out. Then I can be able to do the same thing with Dune. But I'm watching it tomorrow. I'm gonna enjoy it the same way I enjoy Kong versus Godzilla and the Zack Snyder cut. Hey, I appreciate WB putting all of their movie releases into HBO Max throughout the year. Too bad they're not doing it in 2022, unfortunately, but it is what it is. But what about you, man? Do I think it's going to be good? Let me just say this. I think it's going to be mid. I think it's going to be probably about mid, but I'm not going to complain because I already got the service.
Right.
And it's just additional content that, I'm subscribed for other stuff that I get to watch this too. So, hey, it's all icing on the cake for me.
No, I think it's going to be the best Mortal Kombat movie we ever had. I will say that. I do think that. No, but that's why I can go out confidently and say, I think this is going to be the best Mortal Kombat movie we ever had.
A grown man dunking on a kid on a play school court, basketball court. It's just like, oh, man. You see what I just did to him? Yeah. He's 5, though, bro. Like, come on.
Oh, he's 5.
Now, I say all that to say, back in the day, in the 90s, when that first Mortal Kombat movie came out, I was so hyped for it, man. I loved that movie so much. I watched it that summer like 6 times. But you look back at that movie and you're like, bro, this movie is not that good. Goro's extra arms.
Oh my God. Like, yeah, it was pretty bad, bro.
Those glued on, barely sticking to his body extra arms. Oh man. But look, hey, I enjoyed the movie.
Shout out to Racer X Gundam says, rather at work or on vacation, one thing I could say is that Lord Cog at the gym. Shout out to the Lords again. But no, I think it's gonna be, I'm like you, it's gonna be probably meh. But guess what? My daughter is a huge Mortal Kombat fan. She has all the pop figures that are out. I bought her all the action figures.
You saying this before, yeah.
She was Sub-Zero for Halloween last year. So
nice.
So we literally do family dinner on Tuesdays. where we just basically just all sit around and just hang out with the family for like the end of the day. And we postponed it to Friday this week just because what's better than watching your daughter, you know, hang out with your family and eat dinner and then watch Mortal Kombat and watch my child. It doesn't matter if that movie sucks. She's going to have a ball because she doesn't have a concept of a movie that sucks yet. Especially when it comes to game, especially when it comes to her favorite franchise, which is Mortal Kombat right now. So I'm more excited to sit down and watch her reactions to the movie than just experiencing the movie myself. So I think it's going to probably be meh. I'm hoping it's better. I like Slomo just said, it can't go anywhere but up from what we had before. And just on a graphical and visual standpoint, I think the movie is going to be phenomenal just on that one piece alone. But yeah, man, it's going to be great. But looks like those are all of it.
No, we got a super chat.
Oh, we do, yeah. Chloe Walker with the $5 super chat. GameStack has all the videos on their YouTube channel, and sometimes they do mention Game Pass subscribers in the earnings reports. And then
they do sometimes, but it's not all the time. And I've seen multiple times where people were trying to figure out, like, you know, what that number is. So yeah, it's fine.
Arodimus with the $5 super chats. Before we go, we need the Humpty dance one last time for Shock G. Rest in peace.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, I did see
Shock
that.
G passed away. That's, man.
Dude,
the Humpty dance was the dance. We really showing our age here.
We are.
I remember as a kid, that was like the song that everybody was rocking to for a good summer. Shock G is a legendary MC from back in the day. That's unfortunate that he's passed. It just seems like, oh man, like with DMX now, Shock G, and it just looked like, man, can we not have any more?
We losing all
our rap heroes from past time died.
We're losing all our monuments, man. Losing them all.
Yeah. But we definitely rest in peace to him, and condolences to his family, everybody that knew him.
Yeah, man. Well, guys, this has been an amazing episode. We hit, I believe it was 94 concurrent, almost 100.
Nice.
Almost 100, but listen, doesn't matter what we hit. The fact that
I would say
doesn't matter what number we hit.
It could be 94 people here. It could be
it could have been
9 or 4 people.
It could have been it could have been the 23 people that we started this show with. It's still the same show, the same people, the same attitude, and the same Slow-Mo and Forte. And we truly appreciate you guys for all the love and support. The only thing we ask you to do is, if you haven't, hit the like button on your way out, and please share this video on social media so other people can get a chance to see it that haven't seen it before. And once again, we truly appreciate every last one of you guys. And there's going to be more to come for us. This is just the beginning for us and our channels. And I definitely want to turn it over to my boy Slow-Mo. As always, I always appreciate doing these shows with you, you know, through thick and thin, the ups and downs, the stuff that you say that's crazy that drives me sick, the stuff that I say to you that you be like, what is Forte talking about? But you're my family, and that's all that truly matters to me. Please.
I don't be saying anything that's crazy. If it sounds crazy, it's only because I'm ahead of the times, and the realization of what I'm saying hasn't caught up to the rest of you. That's all it is.
So are you trying to say that we're just living in Slow-Mo's world? Is that what you're trying to say? Oh, okay.
No. I'm Slow-Mo Damas. That's what I'm saying, man.
Oh my God. Slow-Mo, will you please let these fine people know where they can find you and what you got going on your channel?
Yeah, well, you can find me on my channel, Slow-Mo Backslap. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I drop videos. I know that the pace is slowed down a bit, but I got a video coming out tomorrow. I got more videos coming out soon as well. And always, as usual, every other week, you will find DPS podcast, Damage Per Second podcast, on my channel at the same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, Thursday nights. So come check us out. Also, hit me up on Twitter, Slow-Mo Backslap, same name on Twitter as well. And that's it, man.
Yeah, man, it's always great. Slow-Mo didn't even mention his glow in the dark magic PC too. Slomo, do you have bunch of RGB in your PC?
I mean, it ain't a lot.
Can you see it from Saturn?
Nah, you can
Okay.
see it from down the block though.
Oh, you
No,
got it.
but look, I got a little RGB in it. It's not like overwhelming.
It's
You know,
probably not like
people,
mine.
people got like someone's like Christmas lights on their house, like all in their PC. Mine's not like that. I got a little bit more RGB now that I got this AverMedia Live Gamer 4K, and it's got RGB on the side. And by the way, let me just talk about that real quick, because some people tried to tell me that it was my fault that my previous AverMedia Live Gamer 4K capture card didn't work correctly. That somehow I had misconfigured my motherboard, and that was the issue. Well, didn't change anything in my motherboard settings. I got a new AverMedia Live Gamer 4K, and guess what? It works.
It works flawlessly.
So, it works flawlessly because the previous one was defective. And AverMedia has I appreciate them recognizing they had an issue with the earlier versions of their cards and correcting the issue, and so that people don't have to worry about that any further. Plus, I had the Best Buy warranty, so it was just send it back. Wasn't that big an issue. So yeah,
Cool.
but
well.
yeah. So next time I decide to go like, cause like the Buck Snack stuff I did, live stream stuff. And shout out to everybody that came through to watch my misery with that. But that was captured, streamed in 1080p, even though the game could have been in 4K on my PS5. But going forward, next time I go PS5 with a game, maybe Returnal. We'll see. Next time I go live, I'll be able to do that with a capture card that can definitely do that in whatever resolution the game is in. So
yeah, cool. Last message. Arodimus says next week we need to discuss Slow-Mo's addiction to upgrading his GPU all the time. So we'll just
I can't even argue with that. I can't, bruh. I'm still looking for a 3080. But I recognize that if I get a 3080, I'm going to have to probably build a streaming PC. But regardless of that,
just buy a PC that's big. Just buy a PC that's good enough to do everything. You don't need a streaming PC.
No, I mean my PC is good enough to do everything. That's not why.
Oh, you talking about just buying a separate PC altogether and making the one you have a streaming PC?
No, because if I get a 3080, that like the 3080 is 10 gigabits of VRAM. If with my capture card now installed in my PC, I will be bottlenecking it's fine for my 3070 because my 3070 only has 8 gigs. Mm-hmm. But that's when my PCIe slot it can only do 8 gigs when I have something populated in another PCIe slot. They're X16 slots, but they change once you put other things in there. So I'll have to get a streaming PC to not have that 1080 bottlenecked. And so I'm probably looking at getting a streaming PC in sometime like in the next year anyway, just because if I decide to get a Lovelace NVIDIA GPU for the next generation ones, they're probably not going, even though the bus width of the 3070 is wider than you would find with the AMD RDNA 2 cards.
Right.
But regardless of that, I don't think they're going 8 gigs again. And yeah, so it'll be about time this PCIe 3.0 motherboard might need to end up being my streaming PC, and then I just build another one to do everything else, or vice versa, move the capture card out to a stream PC that I build. But it's not in the cards right now, clearly, because anyone that's trying to build a PC can't, because GPUs prices are ridiculous or non-existent. So it's like a unicorn. So
it is a unicorn.
I know I could probably like killed people's ears with all this PC talk
Yeah, you
and
did.
stuff.
That's
So
okay though, but they love you anyway, so it's cool. So yeah, like I said, guys, really appreciate you coming through. We'll see you next week for episode 32 on Slomo channel. Have we decided, are we gonna do the stream this Tuesday, or are we just gonna let people know this weekend?
no, yeah, no, we already announced it Tuesday.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. But just for those who weren't here before when we announced it, we're going to do a co-stream. You can check it on Forte's channel or my channel. Although I thought someone said earlier that you could see both screens.
You
If for
can.
one,
You
oh,
can.
okay, so
So we
we'll
could actually
figure it
just
out.
we'll probably
We'll figure it out
yeah,
later
we'll figure
on.
it
But
out.
it's definitely, we got the time already. Next Tuesday at 11 a.m. We're gonna play It Takes Two. That's the game that won the poll, and we will do that co-op. And hope you guys enjoy it. And whether it's on my channel or Forte's channel or both channels at the same time, we'll also let you guys know that through the DPS podcast Twitter account. And yeah, I think that's about it,
Yeah.
man. But what about did you get your outro? All set?
Well, I mean, you're already on my channel, so make sure you sub to the channel if you liked what you saw. Hit the like button, like I said earlier. Got a couple videos coming out later on. Well, not even later on, in the next 2 days. I'm working on a couple of them. They'll be hitting the channel very soon. But yeah, you guys have a great rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. Play a bunch of games. I know a lot of people are looking forward to the next thing that Microsoft announces and the next thing Sony announces. So let it be good news for whoever it's for. You guys have a great week, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.